Who in the SEC West is going to go over their win total this year? Who's going to go under their win total this year? Who's going to be the champion of the West? Who do we like to bet on? Why is Alabama probably going to go 9-3? All of these are things that we're going to talk about today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
Oh, no.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to an already spicy Locked On Bulldogs. Daniel out here saying 9-3 for Alabama, and all of you Alabama fans that are listening right now are losing your mind. By the way, we thank you for being here. Thanks for making this your first listen. If you're an Alabama fan, a Florida fan, a Clemson fan, a Florida State fan, by the way, found us.
Florida
Daniel.
State fans are so into themselves right now. Like,
what is going on? It's crazy.
Nobody likes to name 4 good college football teams and just slide themselves in to that group of 4, like Florida State fans right now. They're like, well, teams like Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Florida State are just sort of dominating the college football landscape right now.
If you make us your first listen, we appreciate that. Get over to the audio, wherever you subscribe to podcasts, subscribe to us. If you're on the YouTube side, thanks for joining us over there. Hit that notification, that subscription button as well. Link lets us know you're there, and interact with us over on Twitter as well. Dogs Podcast. Today we are talking about surprise team in the West. Can Alabama win 10 games again? And of course, the tried and true Florida still sucks. And
we're always talking about that
because it's always true. Some things are not always true. Two things can be true at the same time. Florida of those two things.
Florida might go 3-9 to Alabama's 9-3 this year.
Literally.
Which one will make you happier? Florida going 3-9 or Alabama going 9-3?
Real Sophie's choice here.
Florida, that's what kind of a program you are. That like your bad season is 3-9, and another school that's our rivals' bad season is 9-3. That's
just let that soak. Marinate in that.
We're talking about win totals. We're talking about gambling. We're talking about betting. We're going to preview the SEC West in the only way that we know how, which is to talk to you about teams that we think will outperform their expectations, teams that we think will underperform their expectations, and then just sort of a general grab bag of thoughts for the 199 in the third segment. Enough of the banter, Clint.
Get to it, Daniel. I wish you just got down to the facts and shut your hole.
It's hard to record a podcast when the instructions that you're given are don't talk. But I'll give it a shot. Let's talk about your favorite over in the SEC West, Clint. Who is the team that you think is going to exceed their win total? And if you're not a gambling person, basically what we're asking is, who do you think is going to outperform expectations this year? Who are you most confident in?
I'm going to give you a couple to go to right away, and take a look, take a deep look, light a candle, get a robe, stare into your soul, because I'm going to list 3 teams.
3?
I'm going to give you 3 to take a hard look out for yourself. I'm going to give you my favorite out of this, but I want you to really look at it. Number 1, Arkansas Razorbacks.
Okay, look. Sam Pittman.
The best quarterback in the SEC.
Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson. Carson Beck's going to be great. The best quarterback in the SEC is KJ today, right now.
Today, we'll see about by the middle of the season. I think there's several quarterbacks who could pass him by the middle of the season.
Absolutely, but as of today, it's 6.5 for Arkansas.
It is. It's 6.5 wins.
That's a low number. This is a talented team.
You look at Las Vegas. It's Alabama, 10.5. LSU 9.5, and Las Vegas has no idea about anybody else. It's just all the rest of the numbers are just the same number. Like nobody knows.
So Arkansas is a look into your soul.
So you like that one? Okay.
I'm just second one. I'm looking at LSU.
He's looking at LSU.
LSU is going to make the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that means they've only lost maybe one SEC game.
They got that Florida State game.
It's got to be difficult, but I think they pull that out.
Even if they lose that and only lose one conference game, there's 10 wins.
There's 10 wins right there. So LSU, of these three that I'm giving you, is probably my favorite, and I'm going to go with them. But my third one I'm going to give you, and I held on to it till the end because I hate this school with a dying passion. I hate this head coach. I hate the three logo icons. Auburn, 6.5 wins. Auburn's got when I say very, I mean probably the second best DB group in the SEC behind Georgia.
It's a good team. I think I was going to ask you, who do you think is going to be the surprise team of the SEC West? And it's Auburn. My answer was going to be Auburn as well. It's tough for me to jump on the 6.5 win total. I looked at it. I did look at it. I thought about giving it. I looked at Arkansas. I thought about giving it for a lot of the same reasons that you did. Both Auburn. I think Auburn plays BYU as their toughest non-conference game. BYU is going to be terrible this year.
Talk about they have probably a worse schedule than South Carolina, but those two teams are going to get crushed by schedule BYU is. Yeah,
and I looked at Arkansas as well. Arkansas's got some pretty easy non-conference games.
They do.
The honest truth is, my favorite over in the SEC West is none of them. I don't like any of them in the SEC West. I looked hard
it's a tough go.
I looked at LSU, but the Ole Miss game scares me. The A&M game scares me. The Alabama game scares me. The Florida State game scares me. How can I take a 9.5 over when I got 4 games already that scares me? I got to go 50-50 at best in those games, and I can't have any other slip-ups on the schedule. I don't like that. And so I don't really like any of these overs. I would give Arkansas, if I had to take one, I would take Arkansas. That would be probably my over. But I do think the interesting point is that both of us, I think people might be sleeping on Auburn a little bit this year. I really, it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with the quarterback position and Hugh Freeze, obviously. I mean, like many schools in the SEC.
Really quick question. Hugh Freeze any good with quarterbacks and offense?
He's been doing an offense thing. He's good at a couple of things. One of them is safe to talk about on the podcast, and it is coaching offense.
Don't mention the second one.
It is. We won't. We will not discuss this. We will not discuss the second one and whether it happens by land or by sea. We won't discuss it.
One toilet paper if by land.
People
People
might be sleeping on Auburn this year. I think Auburn might sneak up on some teams. That being said, I think Auburn could lose to Vanderbilt in Nashville. All these things can happen.
I talked about South Carolina's spectrum of outcomes.
Yeah.
Auburn's spectrum of outcomes.
That's why I'm not taking any of these overs. They're all terrifying to me because all of these schools, what am I going to trust Sam Pittman in Arkansas? No, it does not seem like I am. So let's talk about our favorite unders in the second segment. That is something in which I have some takes. I do have some thoughts on that one.
Lot of those.
But first, want to let you know about this.
Daniel, I don't know if you know, many people have commented on this podcast about the bangs.
They call the banter.
The banter. Well, the banter as well.
Oh, okay.
And then the bangs, and specifically your hair, Daniel. And many people have been asking, I don't know if you know this, but the comment section are asking, does Daniel do
on the street every day?
Is Daniel out here doing some Nutrafol? Because you don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. Nutrafol provides a whole body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs. No compromises, just better hair. That's Daniel's tagline for life.
That's literally that. People are writing a book about me right now, and that is the subtitle. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair.
Just better bangs. Men think losing their hair is inevitable. Take control of your hair's future with Nutrafol, science-backed hair growth supplement for men. Did you know that 8% of men will experience hair thinning in their lifetime? It's normal, but it doesn't have to be your fate. You can go ahead and get rid of thinning with Nutrafol. Men tired of weakening or thinning hair, do you want to reach out to your full hair potential? Leading hair growth supplement Nutrafol helps improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Take the first step. to visibly thicker, healthier hair for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/min and the promo code LockedOnCollege. Find out why over 4,000 health professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/min, spelled Nutrafol.com/min. Enter promo code LockedOnCollege. That's Nutrafol.com/min, promo code LockedOnCollege. Okay, bangs are out of the equation, but unders we like. We do like
an under
on the SEC West. Why? Because there's a lot to like, Daniel.
Now I don't want to get too crazy, because in the same way that I don't have confidence in any of the overs, a lot of the unders also scare me, because any of these teams could beat any of these other teams on any given week, and so you really do have to be careful about who you're picking, against who. But I do think there are a few teams that are primed for the under, and so I will take the lowest hanging fruit, and I will just follow up on what I said at the beginning of the podcast. That's not a troll. I really do think Alabama is going to go 9-3 this season. I think they're going to win 9 games, and I think they're going to lose 3 games. And their win total is 10.5. So even if I'm wrong, I'm right. You understand how that works? Even if I'm
the hook makes him right.
Even if I'm wrong, I'm still right, because I think the LSU game is a problem. I think the A&M game could be a problem. We've already talked about it on this podcast. I think the Ole Miss game could be a problem.
Ole Miss a problem.
And I think the Texas game could be a problem, even though it's at home. A couple of those games are at home, right?
Sure.
Alabama has a fairly favorable home road split schedule when you look at that. That is something to pause if you're going to take the Alabama under. You got to pause when looking at most of those tough games are at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I still think, it's too simple. We've been saying it all off season. We could be totally wrong, Alabama fans. I could be totally wrong about this. But Tommy Rees and Jalen Milroe are not giving me. That's why I think Alabama's hitting the under. Also, your best wide receiver.
Say more.
I know him.
We know him intimately.
We know him. Jermaine Burton is your best. Alabama's best wide receiver. Devontae Smith not walking through that door.
Uh-huh.
Waddle not walking through that door.
No.
Okay. Your best wide receiver is not very good.
The Alabama under, hit it often and keep going back to the window, because it's going to take a lot. Nick Saban, you know what, Nick? You go 10-2. This will be your best coaching performance to date. And I'm proud of you, son. I'm so proud of you. Can I just, for a moment, if you weren't almost dead and over the hill, you could be a good coach. Again, this
could
segment,
have resurrected his career.
If-then statement. If Nick Saban wasn't older than dirt, he could coach for many more years. Do you see how this if-then
if
thing
he
works,
lived for many more years, he could coach for many more years.
This is what we're saying.
Ohio State fans follow the logic perfectly.
It's great. They know. They understand.
So we like the Alabama under. Any other unders that you're on in the SEC West?
Yeah, look, if you're telling me I get to bet money on something happening, first of all, a couple principles. Bet chaos in college football. Okay? Just that's a rule. Secondly, bet Jimbo Fisher to absolutely defecate the bet.
That's all A&M does is go under. Like, this team wins 8 games. That's what they do.
Okay, welcome to A&M.
The line is what, Clint?
8.5.
Oh, so 8 is it's less than 8.5.
It's 8 doesn't get you money, Daniel.
Well, it does if you bet the under.
Well, if you're smart, you bet the under. I like A&M because, just Jimbo is not – he's not a dude that you trust, okay? This is what I'm trying to express to you. He's not a dude you trust with much of anything. So I like that. You mentioned Ole Miss. 7.5, Daniel. Now, they could sneak up on a couple teams, and they could. The combination, that quarterback running back combination with Lane could be quite explosive.
I mean, Judkins might be the best running back in the SEC.
Yeah.
Actually, Quinshon Judkins is the best running back in the SEC. I don't know.
He's the best.
Yeah.
And that quarterback with Lane, whenever they figure it out, it's dangerous. And if he has a couple of competitive defensive players, things get real interesting, Daniel. This is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is a tough team. I think Ole Miss could be the third best team in the West.
They could get
behind LSU and Alabama.
9 wins.
The schedule for Ole Miss is not good though. Any team that has to play Georgia from the East, you don't love it. That's why with the A&M schedule, they have to go to Knoxville that schedule. It's not a great draw from the East if you're a team in the West. That makes you lean under. But I don't disagree with that. A&M under, although A&M is just they have a lot of talent. At some point, they're going to put it together, right? Or is Jimbo just that bad?
Jimbo's that bad.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he's that bad. And then the last one that you got to look at, and this is for no other reason than this is the wild card upon all wild cards. This team could solidify their morale and come out guns blazing, or they can absolutely have a letdown after the old Pirate. Rest in peace, Pirate. But Mississippi State, what are they going to be? What's the quarterback situation? He's really great intermediate, really great accurate, not so great down the field. Can Will Rogers and that Mississippi State offense do anything? And they have a couple of players on defense, but new ball coach, first time in the SEC, thrust into action. 6.5 wins again. Tall task for Mississippi State. I would lean the under there as well.
Yeah. I think I lean the under there as well. All right, we've got more SEC West predictions and thoughts. We'll give you an order of finish. We'll give you our big picture thoughts on the SEC West, all coming up right after this.
Oh, look who's here.
Look at the 199 here.
199's here.
Bonfire.com/store/the 199. Get ready for the season. Go over there. Get yourself some paraphernalia. Support the show. Thanks for being a part of the show. Trying to get to 7,500 YouTube subscribers. So subscribe to the show on YouTube if you're not already. Subscribe to an audio podcast if you're not already. Get it downloading on your device if it's not downloading already. Tell a friend about the show. All of those things. Do you have any other SEC West thoughts, Clint?
What? Yeah, here, let's just play a game.
Okay.
The team not named Alabama. You said Alabama 9-3, which, by the way, 9-3 doesn't win you the West. You're going to have, you're guessing Texas might be one of the 3 losses.
Yeah, I'm predicting 2 conference losses.
Yep, so 2 conference losses. Okay. Mm-hmm. Doesn't get you in the SEC championship. No. So that means LSU is your prohibitive favorite to win the West. If LSU is not winning the West, what team are you taking to win the West? Is it Alabama or is it another team that?
Yeah, it's Alabama.
It's Alabama, right? Okay.
Because of the teams on the schedule, Alabama's one of the only teams I think they can beat LSU. So if LSU doesn't make the championship, it's probably because they lost to Alabama. And so now maybe Alabama's 10-2, but they only have 1 conference loss. They beat LSU head-to-head, but maybe they lost to A&M. They lost to Ole Miss, something like that. And they find themselves in the SEC championship game with 10 wins. I would say that's the second most likely scenario.
Second, I don't.
None of these other teams can win the West. We're not to a point yet. Alabama is certainly not dead and buried or anything like that.
You can't tell me that Alabama is the 3rd best team in the SEC West.
No.
stop talking if that's you. By the way, really quick, James Powell 4387 on YouTube says 3-9 Florida. Let's go. He's locking in the under of 5.5, moving funds around right now.
This man loves it. Lock it in. You love to see that. Hey, do we have time just for a $1.99 special here at the end of the show?
Is this?
We don't need to talk about the SEC West.
Okay, look, $1.99. Welcome. Hey. Welcome.
Did you get into the DMs today, Clint, and see the Weldon
brothers?
Colby Weldon is out here. Can we just comment on this publicly on the pod?
We need to comment on this.
Colby Weldon sends us a message today.
You don't know who the Weldon brothers are. They're long-time listeners. These are two service brothers.
One of them's the treasurer of the 199, I believe.
He doesn't know it, but he
has some sort of official position. Colby Weldon comes out with what I believe to be the single most caliente take I have ever heard in my entire life about anything.
Before we say what the take is, I want to remind the folk, Colby Weldon also took a flyer, took a preseason. This is why I'm bringing this up. Okay, great. He took a Heisman finalist, Stetson Bennett winning the Heisman ticket. If it cashed, Colby said, whatever game you want to go to, Daniel, book the plane ticket. I'll cover that. I'll cover hotel and I'll cover tickets to the game. It was going to hit and it was going to be. And sure enough, Stetson Bennett makes it to New York. Okay. Just let that sink in.
The man's hot takes have gotten there before.
They move some things around, Daniel.
He came today and said he believes that, and I quote, Chaz Chambliss will be the biggest impact player for UGA defensively this season. So that is taking into account
who else?
Malachi Starks, Javon Bullard on the back end of the secondary. That is taking into account the three more talented edge defenders on the team than the aforementioned Chaz Chambliss.
Marvin. Michael.
And maybe there's a get Javon, back to me.
Or Jalen.
Jalen on third down. Tell me he's not way more talented than Chaz Chambliss. Pops? Smile Mondin?
Like Xavier Sorey coming off the edge in the package?
What? Kamari Lassiter? Like, we're literally naming the entire defense. We're naming people who aren't even going to start on defense.
No. He said the most impactful defensive play.
Is there a path for this to happen, Clint?
Daniel, yes. There's a path for it to happen.
I believe in the Weldon so much.
I do. The man said Stetson Bennett will make it to New York.
We're going to bring back the Well Done Parlay this year.
Oh, my gosh. If you don't know,
the Weldon Brothers Memorial Well Done Parlay. The Weldon Brothers, by the way, alive and well. Alive and well, but we're still doing it as a memorial.
Don't do that. No, you can't. The Well Done Parlay. We give you our locks every Thursday to go.
We do.
Put some coin at the window, and then we give you at the end of it a parlay to sprinkle some on the end.
You just want to sprinkle a few leftovers. Say you made all your bets, but the account still got a little scraps that left.
It's not a whole unit, but it's some of a unit.
It's just a little something.
You gotta go ahead and
what's going to pay out 7, 8, 10, 15,
because
40.
We add lots of games to that. Well done.
The Well Done Parlay. You don't leave it on the grill for just a few minutes. It's not a medium rare parlay. You understand? No. You let that thing get tough on
you
there.
You don't need to marinate nothing.
No.
just
like my mom likes her steak, like just a well done.
Look, I'm just
dead and
so much makes sense.
I'm not sure what makes sense about that, but
no, We know.
All right. Colby Weldon, that's a ridiculous take. Clint is trying to be nice to you.
I'm trying to be nice. And what I was going to say, you didn't let me finish.
There's no way that can happen.
The path is that every single defensive player for Georgia opts out of the season because of a second wave of COVID that only targets UGA players.
There it is.
And Chaz says, I'm gonna stick this one out.
Stick it out.
That's Coach. The path.
Okay.
There's
most impactful because he is the only one left.
He's the only one there. Mm-hmm. Colby, this is a hot take, man. We love you.
It really feels like we're grasping now, Colby, though. Come on. Choose.
Could you make it easier to love you?
Choose somebody better. I don't know. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. We got more content to cover, more fall camp to discuss.
What are we going to talk about tomorrow? That's the question.
I don't know yet what we're going to talk about tomorrow, Clint. Why are you asking me on air what we're going to talk? This is pre-production. Pre-production meeting. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll have figured out by then what we're going to talk about. See you.
We'll see you guys.